which is I listen to a lot of EVPs. A lot. You know, I ghost hunting podcast. You listen to a lot of EVPs. That's my issue with this one, which I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you brought it up first. This to me, I'm not dismissing what this man does or who he is or anything like that. This to me does not sound authentic. This sounds like someone else is there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could it just be a really amazing EVP? Absolutely. Absolutely it could. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to be, like, disingenuous about it. It could just be something that the recorder picked up in the background and he didn't hear it when he was recording.
Well, yeah, but it's his own house. Don't you think he'd know if he had a kid roaming around his house?
Oh, it doesn't have to be a kid. It doesn't have to be in the house. Could have been, like, a neighbor or something. I mean, it wasn't that loud.
I mean, just based off of how clear things are kind of coming through when they come through, and he's getting orbs, which are also a very, touchy subject in proving ghosts.
Yes, they are. They're very controversial in the paranormal community. However, and if you guys go on and you watch this video, you will see some orbs flying through. Those are actually pretty authentic looking orbs. So when we look at orbs, you want to look at them, in my opinion, and everyone has their own opinions. My personal opinion is you want to look at them through a video camera, not a still photo. Still photo, it's not going to be as accurate. And when you're looking on the video camera, you want to make sure they're going in a very straight line. They're usually coming at you or to the side. Generally, though, they look like a bit of light, and you want to make sure they are very straight. The reason for that is if you're picking up a dust particle or a bug, something else in the air, it won't look exactly straight. The other thing is, if it's a dust particle or a bug, it's probably not going to be floating exactly straight. When we are really trying to see, like, okay, is this something we can explain or not? You want to see it flying straight through, clear, like a little bit of brightness to it. And that's how you really can tell it's a good one. And that's what those were. And they were good. Yeah. So this one, I say,
no ghost.
I don't know. It's either a super strong spirit. It's either super strong, very intelligent spirit, or no ghost.
I'm leaning towards a no ghost on this one.
We know you are, Mike. All right. All right. Next video. So our next one's going to come from the very infamous Stanley Hotel out in Colorado. And if you don't know the name, the Stanley Hotel, which you should, or if you're kind of like, oh, it sounds familiar, but I can't really place it. This was the hotel that gave Stephen King the inspiration to do The Shining. So that's, that's a big deal. That's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
A very creepy spot. These people we're going to look at right now, these are the cast of Ghost Hunters. Way to go, Ghost Hunters. I believe next week their new revamped season comes out.
Ooh.
I'm excited to see what they do with it, where they go with it. Should be interesting.
How far back does it go, G?
Did you hear it?
Did we all hear that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I heard something.
So I heard something definitely say hello. And that
Yes.
to me is more like what a real EVP kind of sounds like, or like a spooky sound. It sounds very distant when you hear it, even if it's right next to you. Like we talked a little last week, Beth and I, when we listened to John Cannon's recording about how he said it felt like something was standing next to him whispering, but it also sounded as if it was from the other room. That sensation, when you get that, is almost kind of what you hear on an EVP. Let's continue.
I got it on audio. You do? You want to see if I can hear it? Yeah. Listen. Holy.
As we said hello and we tried to communicate back, it said other things that we really need to analyze and see what it did say.
Oh my gosh, what is going on?
It was a laugh.
And then what sounded like some creepy laughter. And it was from right around us. It didn't sound like it was coming from out in the hallway or above us. It sounded like it was like right in there. Right here.
Yeah, but how could it be?
No. And we instantly ran out there and tried to look both ways, and there's no one else down here. It's just us and a cameraman. I just heard it again.
Yeah. This basement's a pretty wild area.
All right, what do we think?
I'm liking it. It's pretty spooky. I'm getting that feeling.
Yeah, so definitely some noises. Is that hotel in operation or is that an abandoned hotel? What's going on?
No, it is still in operation.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I want to believe the ghost hunter people.
Yes, me too.
I don't always believe ghost hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about
60,
33 on ghost hunters. Tried to do some fast math there. Yeah, no, I don't typically go for them so much. A lot of the stuff they get is cool. It's just as a paranormal investigator, and as you guys have heard with our interviews with paranormal investigators, you do not see a ghost every single time you go into a place. You just don't. That's not realistic. And for whatever reason, and maybe it's energetically it gets this way, I don't know how long they're doing these investigations. Maybe they're doing it for weeks at a time and they cut it all through. I don't know. What I do know is that it is very unusual to consistently always be getting not just evidence, but a ton of evidence. This one, however, I don't know. I feel like this one's kind of genuine.
Yeah, no, I had that feeling. I actually, I got the chills a little bit throughout it.
I mean, you can definitely hear stuff. I just kind of don't. It sounds like just random noises, like it could be somebody in the building or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
But with the ghost hunters being there, I mean, they would probably block off a lot of the areas and, it would be less likely. Maybe one or two people sneak down, but,
Maybe you don't super trust the ghost hunters to keep like a totally clean space.
Red carpet treatment.
I don't know. All right, let's go to the next clip. Okay, next we have a clip from the American Paranormal Research Association, APRA. This is from the Queen Mary, which is very haunted. I also like the Queen Mary because it's on Arrested Development a lot, and that's my favorite show. All right, here we go.
In 2009, APRA traveled to one of the most recognized haunted locations on the West Coast, the RMS Queen Mary, located in Long Beach, California. The EVP you are about to hear was collected in the first-class pool area, where the spirit of a young girl named Jackie is reported to manifest. It is clear that the voice was audible, as you will hear APRA founder Brandon Alvis and investigator Joey West react to the voice.
Hello, Joey. Come closer. No way. Get out. Yeah. Get out. Go. Get out. Hello, Joey. Come closer. No way. Get out. Yeah. Get out. Go. Get out.
What do we think?
I'm going to say yes here because it is the Queen Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely was hearing those things. And again, it's the Queen Mary. Come on.
Mike, what do we think?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely hear something. It sounded like Get Out. They were saying the second one sounded like Help Us. I didn't really think it sounded like Help Us that much.
I definitely 110% heard Get Out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely, without question. And I did hear Help Us. I didn't really the first time, but the second time around, I did start hearing it. I kind of trust APRA more than I would
Ghost Hunters.
Well, no, it's not that I don't trust Ghost Hunters. It's a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
This is like another team of paranormal investigators, a little less glamorous, perhaps. I think this one's legit. I believe this one 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mike, are you on the fence with it, or what do we think?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on most of these, I feel like.
Oh my
It's not so much
goodness.
not hearing a thing. It's just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, you can't even, that one didn't even have like video on it, so you couldn't really see what was going on or anything. And
Yeah, but I feel like that one is a harder thing to replicate, like that noise of Get Out.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Mike's on the fence. All right, let's go to our next one.
Not a lot of faith in the actual people recording a lot of these.
Okay, so again, this next clip is also with the American Paranormal Research Association, and they're working on this in conjunction with the Los Angeles Paranormal Association. So we got two groups going in together on this. This one's taken at the Linda Vista Community Hospital in Los Angeles. Let's see what we're going to hear. All right, everyone ready?
Yep.
Collected at Linda Vista Community Hospital in Boyle Heights, California, APRA was conducting an investigation with the Los Angeles Paranormal Association, Mark and Debbie Constantino, and an array of other investigators. This EVP was collected in a basement hallway that led to the morgue.
How are you associated with the hospital? How are you associated with the hospital?
What do we think?
Come on. That one literally sounded like the narrator whispered, "We're not dead." It was like almost the same voice as the guy who was narrating the actual video.
Being that it was a hospital, there is more chances of paranormal activity. Absolutely. You got to think about the spirits who would come forward in hospitals, the types. And did I? Yes, I heard that one. Was I 100% convinced? No, but I did hear it.
I'm shocked to learn because I was 100% convinced on this one.
Really?
100%. And if Beth were here, I know exactly what she would say. So let's pretend I'm Beth for a second. She would say, now isn't that interesting? Because when we do EVPs, and we've heard it before, oftentimes you will ask, do you know you're dead? And that's a common thing we ask. And here is someone on the tape saying, we're not dead. That was me doing my Beth impression.
Very good.
And that is what she would say. She brings up a very good point, which is for me personally and a lot of other investigators, we always ask, do you know you're dead? That's something to think about. Like when you're saying to these people, and I'm sure this is not the first group of paranormal investigators these ghosts have met up with, like, what did you do here? And they're like, we're not dead. You know what I mean? Like, how frustrating.
I mean, I want to believe this one. I really do. It's got all the right materials to it. It's got a hospital. Definitely very spooky. Definitely a lot of good chances for ghosts, for spirits. It's a hard one for me.
Hospitals do accidentally kill quite a lot of people, so...
Oh my gosh, Michael.
What? They do. I mean,
come on.
This one got shut down, so obviously they weren't doing a great job.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah, maybe they're haunted. Maybe they're, oh, we're not dead. Still doing an autopsy on me type deal.
Mike.
Well, that makes sense.
Secret basement.
No, not a secret basement. Regular autopsy rooms. He doesn't...
Now a
accidentally
question.
gets pronounced dead.
Yes.
I would like to bring forth. What do you think come forward more? Female ghosts, male ghosts, children ghosts?
You have brought up something that I am waiting to bring up on the podcast. I will bring it up briefly here. Male, female, 50-50. Children, this is where it gets interesting. There are a higher amount of children ghosts showing full body apparitions. That I would say number one. Number two, I think people are more creeped out by children ghosts. I think it's unsettling whenever a child dies. I think it's awful and tragic and it breaks my heart. Beyond that, it just scares people more. So I think those stories are shared more often. It has a creepy factor. Now, here's the thing I want to bring up. A different show, Beth and I will probably cover this. And we don't do demons on this show. By that, what we tend to mean is we don't investigate places that might have demonic presences at them. A common theory, though, within the paranormal research world is oftentimes demonic forces or negative energies will present themselves as children. There are many theories on why this is. Hard to say. You know, Lauren, hard to say.
I am actually more surprised that men come in 50-50 about. I feel like more women have violent ends. You've got your women in white, folk tales, things like that, which, something to bring up with that first one we looked at with women throwing their children from the bridge because that's how you really become a woman in white. So it wasn't surprising to...
Hold on.
Yeah.
You don't become a woman in white by throwing your child off a bridge.
No. But
for all of our listeners, please go back and listen to our Woman in White episode. It's a very good one. Okay, continue, Lauren.
I really do feel like more women would be more present, especially in different areas with violent ends.
So that's a good point. I'll agree with you, sort of. I will sort of agree with you on this. That in domestic settings, women have more violent deaths. We're murdered way more often. Definitely in domestic settings, higher rate of torture. However, you also have to consider, though, people who died during wars. I mean, can't we say that's why Gettysburg is so haunted? And then if we talk about a state hospital, I mean, that's men and women equally dying presumably terrible deaths, or just regular deaths that are not happy.
I can see this then.
And when we talk about hospitals being haunted, I think about this often. And I think, a big reason for things being so haunted is the energy kind of gets stuck there, right? If you put a lot of energy into something while you're alive, now we're talking about time loops, we're talking about energy presences, we're talking about these other things. Are they ghosts? Aren't they ghosts? We don't know. That's why we have a podcast, because no one knows. You're right. It's interesting. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so this one's creepy. I find this one a little creepy.